G'day, Rod Iverack here from Price of Wealth. Hope everyone's doing well. What I'd like to talk about today is a couple of things. What's your why? What is it that what is it that you've got a passion about? What is it that really drives you? Is it family? Do you love doing things with your family? Is that what drives you? Is it cars? Is it boats? Is it helping others? Is it doing something that makes an effect in the world? Is it environment? Is it animals? Is it what is it? What is it that really gives, what is it that you have passion about? What is it that you enjoy? If you're going to go back, you're talking about things, who was growing up, who was your cartoon favourites? The hero favourites. Which ones were they? And which ones were you most attracted to? To get back to the a period of time that everything was playtime. Everything was enjoyable and enjoyable in as much as you didn't have to worry about life's challenges. It was everything was the world was your oyster. It was anything and everything was possible in early childhood. It's anything could really come about as curiosity drove you to any possibility. What is it that you like Porsches? Do you like yachts? Do you like sailing? Do you like skiing, snow skiing? Sports, football, athletics, dancing, singing. What is it? What's really your driver? This what is it that gets you really, and write it down. Write it down and revisit what it is that go and Google it, look it up, get in touch with it. Some mentors and coaches and I agree is make yourself a vision board, a board of what it is that really fires you up. That's go to the local stationery supplies and get yourself a cork board, and jump on the net and start finding examples of if it's a car, for some it's farming, right? And farm implements, whatever gets your goat going, right? Whatever really floats your boat is it floats your boat. Is to get into touch with why and get a picture of it and put it somewhere where you can see it all the time and remind yourself what it is when things are tough that what is it that really it makes it all worthwhile, right? I've got a search on the internet, and what I did was got a search, and I meant to do this search, right? Okay, so and please be respectful here, all right? Because I'm not talking about anybody present right now in a situation, right? In a situation where health has challenged them big time. It's for right now. So I'm now talking about what I found was what I was searching about. What were the top five regrets when time's up? You know, when your life is challenged with a health issue and you're not going to make it. And what I found on the net was a nurse actually made asked this question, was working in that area and asked this question of many people. And the question was, if this was to be your last day of your life today, and I might, ask this now, and I'm talking about without having a life-threatening, but just imagine if this was, and you knew this was your last day, right? What would be your top five regrets? And that was the question that was asked by many. And it goes on to talk about what those five regrets are. Right. Now, number one was the regret of the comment was said. The most common regret of all was when people realise that their life is almost over and look back clearly on it. Right. It is easy to see how many dreams have gone unfulfilled. Right. Most people had not honoured even a half of their dreams and had to die knowing that it was due to choices they made or not made. Right. Health brings the freedom, and very few realise that. And so that if you've got your health, it's everything. Right. So if you got today and you're healthy and able, all right, it's something to take. It is a massive asset, not to take it for granted. So the number one regret is that I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. All right, that's the number one, and I'll go very quickly on the rest of them, and please be respectful. I'm not talking about of empathy for anyone challenged with a health issue that's current right now, and very real threatening. I'm not talking about people in their situation. I'm not really just talking about having what regrets that you may have. Once we all have a limited amount of time on this earth, right? And time's very much more important than other assets. It's at the top, time and health. So the number two is I wish I hadn't worked so hard. That's amazing. This came from every male patient that I nurse, is what she's talking about. They missed their children's youth, their partner's companionship. Women also spoke of this regret, but as most men were from an older generation, many of the female patients had not been breadwinners, right? So this has changed, obviously. And all of the men I nursed, she talked about, deeply regretted spending so much of their lives on the treadmill of work existence, right? I'm guilty of that, right? Number three is I wish I'd had the courage to express my feelings, right? Men especially, and I'm not talking for all of us men, right? Because there's always exceptions to everywhere, right? So often they would, this is the nurse talking now, often they would not truly realise the full benefits of old friends until their dying weeks, and it was not always possible to track them down. Many had become so caught up in their own lives that they had let golden friendships slip by over the years, right? There were many deep regrets about not giving friendships the time and effort they deserved. Everyone misses their friends when they're dying, right? And I often believe that it's not the money, the material things in the world that you go out with. It's the friends and friends and association and people that you connect with, right? To me, but that's my belief. It's not everyone's, and I'm not saying it for it to be everyone's. I'm just saying it's mine. Number 5, I wish I had let myself be happier. A surprisingly common one. Right? Many did not realise until the end that happiness is a choice. Right? They had stayed stuck in old patterns and habits. The so-called comfort of familiarity overflowed into their emotions as well as their physical lives. Fear of change had them pretending to others and to themselves that they were content, when deep within they longed to laugh properly and have silliness in their life again. So it's really interesting, isn't it? It's, these are the top things that found that were the regrets, and so yeah, I hope that enlightens us all a little bit, and lets us not experience another funeral or friend, close, or family, or any of those things, to have to remind us of it. Is that take life in a happy way, and value your friends, and have the courage to chase your dreams. So that at least you can have less regrets, and be fulfilled in Mr. Alan Walter. I'm not too sure of the last name. It's bathing in how does it go? Bathing in the wish fulfilled, right? So what he's talking about is imagining the dream, the dream or the passion that you have, imagining you having obtained that, and feeling that you've obtained that before you've obtained it, just to get a taste of what it is that's your passion about. So we'll leave it at that. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you on the next one.